Today we're going to talk about visual storytelling, and specifically we're going to give you 3 reasons why visual storytelling should be a part of your marketing strategy for 2018. We have some really great stats and statistics and just information we want to share with you guys today. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and get started. So for those of you that do not know, Adrienne J Media is a digital marketing agency located in Atlanta, Georgia, and we specialize in digital marketing strategies everything from social media marketing, email marketing, web development, and our special touch is that we focus on relationships. So we don't just do the work, but we want to know the why behind the work and really foster relationships between our clients and their customers to make the most benefits and gain the best measures. It's Friday. I'm tongue-tied. Gain the best measures for their customers and help them generate revenue. Okay, so that's the spiel. If you have not already, please like our Facebook page.
Yes.
We also have a sign-up button for you to sign up for our email marketing list as well.
Tag a friend, invite a friend,
Yes.
tell them to come on in. You're getting free tips, social media, ask any questions you have. We're ready for you. Just type your questions in the comments below, and we'll be more than happy to answer them.
Yeah.
Adrienne J Media at Adrienne J Media. So
I hope not. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So what is visual storytelling? Visual storytelling is, as it says, a way for you to visually tell a story about yourself or about your brand. And this becomes very important when we look at how a brand will then market to their customer. As the trends are going and as we see social media platforms continue to evolve, it has become even more important now for a business to actually create a relationship, right? And tell the story of who they are, what they do in an authentic and less marketing-ish kind of way. So essentially, you're not pushing them to buy a product. You are more of telling them about who you are, what you do, what your brand stands for, and then softly selling yourself and your brand. Right. So visual storytelling is a way to do just that. It's a way to create a perception for your brand, and it's a way to tell a story without a hard sell. Right. And it could be done via video. It could be done through a stream of still images, all in a consistent way that tells a story from point A to point B. So for example, on our Facebook page, we actually have a promotional video, and we did it on Instagram as well, where you see the imagery of someone entering our office, and then there is a call to action at the end saying, "Hey, join our Facebook Live." So we're telling the story. We're showing you what our work environment looks like, and we're doing that without words and without pointing out exactly what we're doing. But it again tells a story of what we do, where we are. So that's a long spiel about what visual storytelling is. Anything you want to add?
I just see a couple of people joining in. I see you, Catherine. I see you,
hey,
Caroline.
Catherine.
Yeah, welcome back. We know you're there for the last one when it snowed. Welcome back. I see a few other people here. Kipngeno, all the way in Kenya. Welcome in.
Hey, from Kenya.
Come on in. Who else do we have here? Susan, welcome in. Send us your questions. Invite a friend. If you have any questions on social media, not just because visual storytelling transforms throughout your brand, not just on social media. So you can apply this not just to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and we'll discuss all of that. So your questions could be more varied than just visual storytelling, but it all weaves into how all of these work. So if you send, I see you here, so wave, say hi, send an emoji, a thumbs up. We do a good job. You can hear us clearly. We're here for you.
Yes, we are. Okay, so let's jump into it. So what are these 3 reasons why visual storytelling needs to be in your plan? I have pens in my hand, so I'm going to sit down. So the first reason is visual, and more specifically video, indexes much higher when it comes to engagement on social media platforms. So what does that mean, it indexes higher? That means that we as consumers, so we'll take ourselves out of the business standpoint, as a Facebook user, as an Instagram user, we oftentimes engage more, view more, like more video content than we would still imagery or any other content. And it indexes higher because it's a more engaging form of media per se, and also with the opportunity for us to have captions at the bottom of video that you see that a lot on Facebook. It becomes a way for us to engage in social media without everyone knowing. Sometimes on the job, sometimes traveling, if you don't have headphones or so on and so forth. And a really great stat that we pulled out is actually human beings process visual elements 60,000 times faster than reading words. So it's much, it's crazy. So it's much easier for you to capture a potential customer's attention via video than it is for any imagery with text inside of it. And then more specifically with video, we know that Facebook users view 4 billion videos every single day. That's crazy. So that's crazy. So your video for your brand should be one of those 4 billion or a couple of those 4 billion.
Right. And with especially how it says people view more videos than read. If you can actually be honest with yourself, when's the last time you read a whole article from top?
True.
You just look through it, you skim and see what's up, but somebody will sit there and watch a video, and that's the best way to tell your story, because then you're capturing people's attention for a short period of time, but you get your message across rather than just like, looking through the article, not getting what you're trying to say, and that's the best way to reach those people.
Exactly. So video, number one, that's the first reason, because videos index higher when it comes to engagement. And I know that we talked about visual storytelling having the capability of being in video and also in still imagery, but if you're going to do it, especially with the influx of stories across Instagram now and Facebook, you see the usage increasing specifically on Facebook. Video is the best way, and because it's the most engaging way, we put that as our number one reason why it needs to be included in your marketing plan, because it's the most engaging form of media, and we as consumers, we like it.
Right.
Yep. All right, so for number 2, we know that it's because of customer connections, right? So customers buy and engage with brands that they trust. And one saying that we know, and I think you probably have heard this before, is that customers buy from a person. They don't necessarily buy from a brand, especially when we look at small businesses who honestly are the core of our customers, right? So a small business, they don't necessarily buy from Adrienne J Media. They don't necessarily buy into our quote-unquote brand, but they buy based on the relationship with Adrienne, the relationship with Diana. They buy based on the relationships with, our staff and the people who work with us. So it's really important to create a connection with your customer. And what better way to do that than to tell a story about your brand or about your employees or about the product that you sell or the services that you offer. Yep, exactly. So 2, the customer connection is so key. And again, audiences and your customers want to see what's behind the scenes, what's going on with your business. They want to buy into you as the person, right? You as the person behind this brand, so that they will then buy into the brand and at the end of the day, hopefully purchase that product or that service.
I see 2 more people have joined. Happy Ricky is in the house. I see you. And I also see Rastos all the way from California. Welcome in. Send us your questions. Just going to add what to Adrienne say. If you also look at it as far as people buying from people rather than brands, social media has become so, like, everything starts to look perfect and you don't know what people are really about, but when you meet the person, you buy more for them because you trust and you see, especially if you do behind the scenes, and they can see what you actually do in-house and what's going on there. Those sell even more, especially through video, than trying to tell somebody by words, this is what we do. But if they can see what you do and it's your true self and what they know of you as a company, they're more likely to buy from you. So it's definitely about the person more than the brand.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So that's our number 2, right? Customer connections. So number 1 was videos index higher. That's why we think visual storytelling should be included in your marketing plan. Number 2, customer connections are very important. They want to buy into the who of you and the why behind your brand. And then number 3, authenticity. And I want to use the stories for Instagram as an example first, and LeBron James specifically. At our day and time, we now have the capability of seeing the authentic lives of celebrities, of people that we admire. And although we know that social media, most likely for most brands and specifically individuals, is the highlight reel, right? Everybody's not showing all the good real details of what's going on in your life, but it's the highlight reel. But we still, more so than ever, have an insight into what really is going on in a celebrity like a LeBron James' life. So for New Year's Eve, he did a series of Instagram stories about how he was going out, and him and his wife and his fellow teammates. He was there with Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union was there. So as a consumer, as a fan, and I hope I don't get in trouble with some people who are not LeBron James fans. I know someone particularly who lives in the house with me, but it's fine. So I like LeBron James. So in any event, the moral to my story is he has shown his life in an authentic manner through Instagram stories. So the great part of that is I now, as a fan or as a potential buyer of many of his products, or he is a spokesperson for brands to potentially purchase one of those brands, I now have insight into his authenticity and more, going back to number 2, of a connection with him as a person, right? So when we think about that number 3, authenticity is so important now because social media has made that the norm. At this point, you can look into almost any brands, any celebrities, quote-unquote highlight reel, or look into their life. But being authentic with it, as I just shared this story about LeBron James from New Year's Eve, builds a connection with that consumer, builds a connection with that potential brand for that person to purchase a product or your service. So that's number 3, authenticity. And because authenticity conveys, it is our hope that with your storytelling it will convey honesty and then really relate back to your customers.
So I already have questions.
Okay, yes, let's talk about it.
So I have one from Niano, all the way from Kenya. How can this model be used to reach out to low-income populations struggling to access social media? That's a really, really good question.
Such a good question.
So here is one of the approaches that we take with our customers, right? And I hope that this can provide an answer to your question. So oftentimes with our customers, they will come to us and say, I need to be on every single social media platform that has ever existed, so on and so forth. Put me on Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, all of them. And the new one that's about to come out, put me on there. And we go back to our customer and say, let's do an evaluation of who your actual customer is. What's the demographics? What do they like? What do they read? How do they consume media? And then let's decide what's the most appropriate social media platform for them to be on. So I'll take that methodology and say, if you are working with a low-income customer and they are not targeted towards social media, they don't have access to that, take a step back and look at what your customer does have access to and what are their means of consuming media, whether it's traditional out-of-home advertising, whether it's a billboard, and then look to utilize that media to tell a story. So let's say that their most accessible form of media or advertising is billboards and outdoor media, okay? So if that's the case, then utilize that form of advertising, that medium, in a way in which you can tell a story. And you can do that by creating a custom campaign using imagery or still images that we talked about earlier to display a story of what you are attempting to tell. So does that mean that the advertising has 4 or 5 different images that tell the story of your brand? Or does it mean that there is a call to action that then leads them to another mode of advertising that they may consume where they can see more information, right? So I hope that answers your question. But to sum it all up, if they don't have access to social media, find out what they do have access to and then tailor your plan based on what their consumptions of media are, because you want to reach your customer where they are, because that's the easiest way to convert them.
And I would also say just start small.
Yeah.
Just start small. Get a good camera, or nowadays almost every phone has a camera. get good lighting, get good pictures, and just start with that. It doesn't have to, don't have to go out and find a videographer to make videos for you and pay a lot of money. Just start with that, and once people start to get to know your content and start to see where you're going and make it consistent with whatever you are doing, then people start to pay attention. There is a story I was reading on Instagram of a gentleman who used to travel and used to like to take pictures, but he was traveling with his girlfriend and she always kept complaining that he's taking pictures instead of enjoying the whatever. So all he did, he started taking pictures of her in the picture, they're just holding hands and he's behind her, and it became his brand. And now he has 4 million viewers. And it just takes a few people to notice the work you're doing, and if you're doing really good work, just stick with that and just make sure that you are being consistent. Start small and then build as you grow, as you build your audience. I have a couple of people who have joined. Chabosir Kip in Texas. Hey.
Hi, Whitney.
Whitney's there. I see Cindy here. Thank you for all your questions. If we're answering your questions, give us a thumbs up. Let those likes come across. I see also here another question from Ricky.
Oh, look at me.
How long should the video content be?
Okay, so the length of the video content depends on the platform that the user is watching the content. So by platform, I mean, is it on Facebook? Is it on Instagram? Is it on Twitter? So on and so forth. Typically, we like to suggest that our customers use what's considered short form content, or content that's under 2 minutes. Because short form content is widely consumed on, when we're thinking about social media platforms better, because typically when you're scrolling through your feed, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, you really have about 12 seconds to capture a customer's attention or a person's attention. So we say at the longest you would do 2 minutes, at the shortest maybe 30 seconds.
And also you're limited by the platform you're on. Facebook will let you put long length videos. Instagram will only give you 60 seconds. You have to get your messaging in on the 60 seconds. Cut out whatever is at the beginning that is unwanted, and towards the end, and just go in, edit it down to what you actually need to get across your message. Again, at what we said at the top, when we started, 100 million people worldwide watch at least one video per day. That means there are so many videos, and you have to make sure yours is short enough with information to be able to capture what you're trying to say quickly, so that you don't lose people's attention. We started a while back. A few people have joined. You're watching Adrienne J Media Live. Tag a friend, invite a friend, share, click, ask your questions. We're talking about the
benefits of visual storytelling. So I'll do a quick recap before we go into our closing thoughts of how to do this more effectively, right? So basically what we've talked about on this live is the 3 reasons why you should include video storytelling in your marketing plan for 2018. Because we know that we're in January, but oftentimes if you run a small business, you're in the operations of it all, and sometimes marketing becomes the last leg of your planning. So what we want to do is give you some reasons why you need to include this particular type of marketing into your planning for 2018 as we continue on into the coming months, right? So number 1 is that videos index higher than any other form of content, really, when you go across social media or across any kind of advertising medium, right? People like to watch videos. It's an engaging form of ways to consume content. Number 2, you want to connect with your customers, and video is a great way to do that because of number 1, because it is very engaging. And number 3, we talked about authenticity and also about how I love LeBron James. You can watch this afterwards to get that little...
and forgive her.
Yes, forgive me for the person who's watching this and doesn't like LeBron James. But we talk about authenticity and how that's very important, and how nowadays we have a glimpse into everyone's highlight reel, and it is very important to be authentic with who you are, because customers like that, and it can help them buy your product or your service.
Ron Stozy just put a comment here which is very important. Human interest sells.
Yes, that's really important.
Human interest sells. If you can get somebody with a story that relates to them, you have them hooked. If you're just out there and no one is connecting with you on that level, then it will take a while for you to gain traction, versus if you're doing something on that. I have another question.
Okay.
A couple other people joined. Lois, Cherub, Bernard, Regina, welcome in.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Thank
you for coming in. Cindy says, I tend to smile when doing my videos, and it's just in my nature. Is it okay, or does that throw people off?
Let's go back to authenticity.
Look at us.
Yeah, we smile all the time. This is us authentically. We are both balls of energy at different times of the day. So it's important for you to be you.
Yeah.
We actually had some tweets that Diana put up on our profile on Twitter yesterday, or day before yesterday. We were participating in a Hootsuite, that's a social media management platform, a Hootsuite webinar, and Diana can provide more information about that tweet. But yeah,
but I was on there and I realized you can tweet as many tweets as you want. You can be on there, send as many as one, because they're short and people, they keep getting moved down. But I realized when you use GIFs, I don't know if you've seen those, maybe you don't know they're called that, but that, if you've seen those, where people have reactions and attitudes, or if you're trying to say yes, instead of using an emoji, use a GIF, it tends to have people come into you. I don't know what it is about them. They draw people, maybe it's the expressions, or it really relates to what you're saying, or you're agreeing to it. So be yourself. That is what will draw people to you. If you feel like using emojis or GIFs or whatever will make everybody, somebody come to you and learn about, they might not buy from your brand, but they will learn about you. They'll keep coming back more and more. So be yourself. Keep smiling. Maybe it's a smile that people want to see. They've had a bad day and they're coming to see you, but that is what would sell. Thanks for that question.
Yeah, that's a great question. And the last little point that I want to add to that is there was also a stat that she put up that when doing like Facebook Live, and when a customer or consumer is watching a video from a brand, they actually prefer that the video be unscripted, right? They want to see you as you are. So if you like to smile, keep on smiling. Keep on smiling. Any more questions?
Another question here. Thank you for sending your questions. Kimyana says, working for a non-profit organization to distribute reading glasses to both high and low income populations. Okay.
Oh, wow.
What would be the best way to advertise for the services without going red or experience losses?
Oh, wow. That is a great question. And to that question, for us to accurately answer it, we would have more questions, right? So number one, what is your budget? Number two, back to what we said earlier, what is the mode of media consumption for your potential customers? Number three, do you actually know who those customers are and where they live online or offline? And when we say do you know, oftentimes there is a perceived customer base based on who we think our customer is, and then there's an actual customer base based on market data and research that you can get from the U.S. Census Bureau for free, and then also other tools online. So unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly how to do that right now because I don't have those intricacies. But what you can do is always shoot us an email, hello@adriennejmedia.com, and we can further that that conversation. But take a look at those three things that I pointed out. What's your budget? Where do your customers actually consume their media? And do you actually know who these have you qualified who these customers are? And where they live online or offline.
If that was a mouthful for you and you can't remember that, our website, adriennejmedia.com. You'll always find information on there. We are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we are on Instagram. We always post tips on a regular of what you can use. You might find something that will grab your attention. We do services like email marketing. It might work for some, it might not work for others. It just depends on how you're trying to get to them. But we always have tips on that. As Adrienne said, send us an email, and maybe there's something we can help on that front from where you are. There's somebody here who sent a message saying, Caroline said her nephew Ken Keyo. Hey, Ken Keyo is watching from Malindi. Malindi is the coastal part of Kenya.
Oh,
and
wow.
He's in marketing.
So international.
I know. So this is what social media is. Like we are. It's made the world so small that you will find, and there is content coming from everywhere around the world that is really good. People pick from each other, learn from each other. Go on social media if you are looking for ideas for how to do visual storytelling. Go see what other people are doing. Go on Instagram. You'll see how people are doing their videos, whether they're clean images, whether they're dark. Like, just get a view and sense of how that is, and that's your first step to crafting what you want to sell. And then putting the messaging. The other thing that we usually say about that, and you can see it, especially if you do advertising on Facebook, less what do you say, writing or
less text inside of the imagery
of
is
the
better.
Imagery, right? Just let the image speak for itself, let the video speak for itself. But see what everybody else is doing. You'll see what somebody else is doing, tailor it to what your brand is and what your messaging is. And the world is becoming smaller, so people are sharing information from
That's
all
awesome.
angles.
Adrienne J Media in Africa.
Yay!
We're gonna come to Africa this year. We're putting it out there. We'll be there.
Wait for us. We're coming.
Yeah, and we'll do a live from Africa as well.
I see a couple of people here joining: Daniela, Sharon, I see here some other people, Paul, Sifa, and Esther, Daniel, Carol. Welcome all you guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us,
Yes.
for taking your Friday out to do this. I think there was another question. You all look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. Okay, so this is the last point that we wanted to make. We've talked a lot about visual storytelling, what it is, what are our top 3 points. But at the end of the day, how do you create an effective visual story? Like, how do we do that? And we kind of went over some of these points with the questions that were asked. So the first one is, tell the story about the people behind the business and not the business. Right? Because that goes back to what we talked about earlier. People buy from people, not from business.
Human interest.
Right, human interest, right? So tell the story about the people behind the business. Give behind the scenes type information, and then be authentic with it. Another one we talked about earlier, be spontaneous, be energetic, and be true to yourself, but be authentic. That's another way to create an effective visual story. Again, give a behind the scenes look, and then teach your user or your viewer something new. Provide value to them. It's very important. One of the inspirations behind us doing Facebook Lives, besides Diana, one of the inspirations behind us doing Facebook Lives is actually an Instagram Live that's done by the editor of Entrepreneur Magazine. Right? So just quickly, he does a weekly live on Instagram where he used to hold up a piece of paper like this with his information on it. And a viewer actually created a t-shirt for him for his information to be displayed, so he doesn't have to hold that paper. And he came back after he received the t-shirts and talked about how delighted he was as a potential customer to have received that. So at the end of the day, to delight and to educate your customers is to gain a true customer. And is a way to also grow your business. So sharing a little bit of information goes a long way, and being authentic to who you are goes a long way for your brand.
And don't be afraid to try new things.
We
never used to do Facebook Lives. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Follow what the trends are and where things are going, where 2018 and beyond, if it's video and you're serious about growing your business, now you have to think about this. It is free. Social media is free, so you can say it's expensive. You just need to know how to use it and just follow the trends. If video's where it's going, try it. It doesn't hurt. Just give it a try. Everybody's gonna go there eventually until they form new things. So if you can jump in while the trends are still hot and market off of it. Speaking of the guy who made the t-shirt, the guy from Entrepreneur who was doing the Instagram Live has so many followers, like I don't know, 4 million, however many people watch him, and all he had to do is say thank you so and so for this t-shirt, and he has customers just like that. So watch what other people are doing, connect with them in one way or another, offer your services. One t-shirt could open up so many people because they're like, I like the t-shirt, it has this information, instead of keep saying follow us at this, view us at this, and just like that you gain business that you wouldn't know where it would come from.
And then it also builds great energy for your brand as well, to do something that helps the customer. This is great energy for us on a Friday to share information with you guys and connect with people all the way in Africa. Like, that's amazing. People all the way in Alabama, in Mobile,
Texas.
Hey family.
Tanya just joined. Hey Tanya.
Hey Tanya.
Hi.
So it's really important to put out that energy and to, as Diana said, try something new. So on that, we are going to
somebody said, are you on YouTube?
We are on YouTube, Raz. We are on YouTube. We will be sure to include that information.
We're creeping in. Only into YouTube.
Yes, we are.
Now that videos are becoming big and popular, we're going slow. And especially, if you have something like Facebook Live where it's free, it's immediate, it's convenient, this translates a lot faster and in terms of convenience and efficiency by the time they make it to, and I think that's where Facebook is really making leaps and bounds, because they're taking this from whenever you have the video, it stays on Facebook. It doesn't disappear like Snapchat or Instagram stories, and it has longevity, and they're trying to do things from other people that they're learning to keep more people on Facebook. You would think people don't engage on Facebook because they're not liking or sharing or whatever, but they are on there because what they're offering every time to their audiences is really making it stay longer and have longevity.
Absolutely. So we are
said hey.
Hey Tanya.
Hey,
We are on, of course, Facebook.
Yes.
We're also on Instagram. And then, of course, we have our website at adriennejmedia.com that you guys can sign up for our newsletter.
Yes.
Check out some of our very informative blogs. We're all about sharing information. And please share this video or tag someone or mention someone in this video who may not have been able to join today but may find this information useful.
Right.
Shoot us an email if you guys have questions or if there's a topic that you'd like us to provide or talk about in our next Facebook Live.
Yes.
Also, I'm interested to know, we thought about doing this on a monthly basis, but if this should be a bi-weekly or a weekly thing, let us know, and we'll do it.
And we'll try and switch it up, maybe have just like Q&A sessions where we just answer specifically your questions, what you may have on digital media, digital advertising, web development, social media, all the services that we offer. If you know somebody who is in need of digital media, find us.
Yeah, give us a call.
Give us a call.
470-222-3620.
She knows it offhand. We'll make her a t-shirt.
Yeah, we'll make you a t-shirt.
She can have it, but y'all been great. If you have any questions. Oh, she said weekly.
Really, Tanya? Weekly? Okay. We'll work on that.
Thank you, Tanya. We hear you. We hear you.
Absolutely.
We still see people joining. Please send us your question. Even after we are on this and it's over, we still can answer your questions.
Absolutely.
And we'll still monitor the feed if you have any more comments. You guys have been very engaging.
Yes.
You've given us a lot of stuff to talk
about.
about.
And it's been great.
We've had a lot of fun. And we hope you're having a good Friday. AdrienneJmedia.com, AJM Live. Follow us, tag, share, find a friend.
It's been great.
Yes, it's been great.
All right, see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.